How's it going? And welcome back to Chasing Victory with Ben Valiant and Jason Lee. I'm Ben Valiant and that's Jason Lee. And today we're going to give you our NFL Super Wild Card Weekend picks. Jason, how's it going?
It's going well, man. Good start to the week, good finish to the season, the regular season, that is. It's time to lock in. It's postseason football.
It is postseason football indeed. So let's start with the AFC and the opening matchup of Super Wild Card Weekend. The Texans, the spots, it's reserved for them already as soon as they clinch the playoffs. Texans taking on the Chargers in the 4-5 matchup. Who do you got?
No doubt about it. There was no hesitation in my mind. I am taking, is this really an upset? I don't even think it is. The Chargers are the better team. They have the better coach, the better quarterback, the better everything. The Texans are only the 4 seed, like you said, because their division is a joke. Their division, they are going to hold that division title for the next 10 years. And that is a fact because the Houston Texans play with three clown franchises and the Indianapolis Colts on occasion that want to try every 5 years. But that's about it. Like, the Chargers can compete. We've seen it many times throughout the season. Their losses are pretty close. They really never got destroyed in any game. Chargers are the better team. This should be an easy win for Justin Herbert, and they should be ready for what's to come in the divisional round. So give me the Chargers.
I have to agree with you. I do think the Chargers are going to win, but you have to think about the Texans are at home. This is CJ Stroud's second playoff appearance. Justin Herbert, I know he's been to the playoffs before, but this is a whole new head coach, an essentially brand new receiving core, new running backs. Like the whole team besides Herbert is pretty much different. Whoa, why are
Whoa,
you looking at me like that?
whoa, whoa, whoa. New head coach. Oh, it's a new head coach. Justin Herbert's in the playoffs. Jim Harbaugh, Brandon Staley.
Yeah, 100.
Really?
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all. I'm just saying I'm not saying Brandon Staley is a better head coach. I'm just saying that like it's their first year together, and this is the second time D'Amico Ryans is taking the Texans to the playoffs. And I don't know, the Texans have had more more chemistry, more time to gel with each other. I do think the Chargers are going to win this football game, but that's the argument that you're going to make for the Texans. But why I think the Chargers are going to win this game? You compare the quarterbacks. Justin Herbert is better than CJ Stroud in essentially every category there is. You can't trust an Ohio State quarterback. I would say Justin Herbert's more athletic, more arm strength, better pocket presence, better measurables. He clears CJ Stroud. And for Justin Herbert, he's a seasoned vet at this point. What is this? His fifth, sixth year in the league, like actually starting? He's done it before. He's won a playoff game before. He did that a couple years back against the Jaguars. So for me,
No, 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 no. No, 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 no. They lost.
oh, they did lose because that was
They
that
blew the
crazy
27-0
comeback game,
lead.
right? I thought it was the other way around. Um, they've been to the playoffs before. It's not their first rodeo. They're ready for it this time. And I don't know. I think it's gonna be a boring game. But I think if like there's one game I would choose out of all these to be a dud, it'd probably be Texans Chargers.
Oh, 100%. And you said that, Houston's home. CJ Stroud beat Joe Flacco and the Cleveland Browns last year in the AFC wildcard game. Give it up for him. No, here's the thing. The Chargers learned their lesson from last year, obviously, or a few years ago, whenever that game was in Jacksonville. They learned their lesson. And I feel like it's all on coaching. Jim Harbaugh is an experienced veteran. He's gone to the Super Bowl before. He's played in the NFL before. You can't say that about Brandon Staley. You can't say that about Kellen Moore as an offensive coordinator. This is a newly formed Chargers team. Oh, the coaches are great. Team is great. The only wild card in the wild card, no pun intended, is Quentin Johnston. It is what Quentin Johnston are we going to see in this game? Are we going to see the Quentin Johnston that had one game where he had like 168 yards and 2 touchdowns? Are we going to see the Quentin Johnston on 4th and 3 in a game on the line? He's wide open and he drops it. Is that something to think about? Lad McConkey as the Chargers' #1 weapon at wideout has to be on his A game. Will Dissly has to be on his A game. Quentin Johnston is the only hit or miss guy. We don't know what guy we're going to see. It all depends also on the Texans defense. Is Derek Stingley going to be on Ladd McConkey? Yes, he is. So that leaves an opportunity for Quentin Johnston, for Will Dissly, for the run game to get going, for Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins to get going. It all matters on the offense. The defense is a little questionable for the LA Chargers. The defensive coordinator is phenomenal. I love his game style, but I feel like the defense needs to, have one of their best games. They cannot have any, blown coverages or dropped turnovers or dumb penalties like an offside on a hard count. That can't happen, especially when you are the road team, but you are the favorite to win this game. So there's nothing can go wrong for the Chargers, which I don't see anything going wrong. So I don't understand why the Chargers don't win this game. But, it's the playoffs. Anything can happen, but I still think the Chargers will win.
Yeah, and you brought it up a little bit, but the one question mark for the Chargers is going to be the receiving. Do they have enough with a fully rebranded receiving core this offseason? I mean, the thing about the Chargers, they had Mike Williams and Keenan Allen last year. And I get it's a new head coach. You want to kind of start fresh. You have your franchise quarterback in Justin Herbert. But if they kept those guys and those guys stayed healthy, which is a big if, don't get me wrong, the receiving core for the Chargers with Ladd McConkey and Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, which could have been, and Quentin Johnston, that could have been a top receiving core in the game. And that could have added just another element to the Chargers game. And I think the receiving is good. I don't know if it's going to be good enough. I do think the Chargers win, but is it going to be the defense that steps up and carries the load, or is it going to be the offense? I mean, the Chargers are only favored by 3 points. I think they win by a lot. They win probably by a touchdown and a field goal. So I don't know. I think this is like the boring game out of the group, but for the Chargers, it's got to be the receiving. It's got to be on point.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, compared to Houston's offense, they're pretty, but that receiving core, that young receiving core that we were excited to see, Nico Collins, Tank Dell's hurt again. Now it's the Nico Collins show, and
you can't forget about Stephon Diggs. This is the guy who's proven it in the playoffs before. This is the guy who's done it for the past 7-8 years.
True. I mean, he's a veteran. They brought him in for a reason, and I feel like he's been around the block long enough to help lead this team, and he has to do it. It can't be, C.J. Stroud. It can't be Joe Mixon's a veteran too, but Stephon Diggs has consistently been in the playoffs almost every season of his career. He knows what it's like. There's that whole meme of him sitting in Arrowhead with his hands at his side in disappointment. Like, do something about it then. If you're disappointed about why you lost in the playoffs, lead the team to victory. You're the home team. You're the 4th seed. At the end of the day, regardless of who's in your division, you won the division because you stepped up on the offense. You led the team. Stephon Diggs needs to come out swinging. Same with Nico Collins. Same with Dalton Schultz. The run game needs to be solid. Everything needs to go right for the Houston Texans offense. They've had some sloppy performances this season. But I feel like, hey, they beat the Buffalo Bills in the regular season. Let's get that out of the way. They're one of their wins is against the Buffalo Bills. But I feel like the Texans just need to lock in. They just need to have the best 4 quarters they've had all year to beat the Chargers.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, yeah, that's how it's got to be. But I don't think a Texans win is off the table or anything. Yeah, the Chargers are the better team, and I think they proved that through the regular season. And I think that's true for a couple of these games. The road team is better. You see it in the NFC side with the Vikings and the Rams. You see it on the NFC side again. Probably, I would say the Commanders are better than the Bucs. We'll get to both those games later in the episode. But for now, let's move on to the 2-7 matchup in the AFC. The Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos. Now I'm going to start this one off. I'm going to say this. I don't think it is crazy that the Broncos come out and win this football game. I do think the Bills are going to win, but I think Sean Payton and Bo Nix are going to keep it close. And I think this is going to be a game in the 4th quarter. And in the 4th quarter in the NFL, anything can happen. A game can spin on a dime, and the opposing team and whatever team can make crazy comebacks. We've seen it time and time again. We saw it with the Broncos a couple weeks ago in that game against the Bengals. I know they lost that game, and the Bengals won that game. But we see, I believe the Broncos were up for a good part of that game. And the Bengals came back and won it in overtime. So for this game, I'm looking for the Broncos to keep it close and win it when it matters. In the
Yeah,
fourth quarter.
I absolutely think you got a point there with this game being close. I mean, I love Bo Nix. I love what Sean Payton's done with that offense and that team. Like guys, young guys like Marvin Mims, Nick Bonito, these guys are stepping up. Patrick Surtain, like everyone's stepping up on this team in a major way, and that's why they're in the playoffs. They 100% deserve to be in the playoffs. Unfortunately, you are the last team in, which means you get the unfortunate situation of playing the best team that isn't the 1 seed in the first round of the playoffs in the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are 100% going to win their home. I mean, Broncos playing cold weather, Bills playing cold weather. There's a factor right there. It could go either way. But the Bills are 1,000% the strongest team. They got their eyes on one team and one team only, and that is Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. They will do anything, come hell or high water, to go to Arrowhead. That is the goal for the Buffalo Bills. It all starts now, and for them to be the serious threat, because they got to beat somebody else in between from now to Arrowhead. They got to beat somebody else. It could be the Ravens or the Steelers. We'll get to that matchup later, but that has to happen, and this is, let's say, the easy game between the two, the wild card and the divisional game. The Broncos are, I feel like the Ravens or the Steelers are going to put up more of a fight against Buffalo than Denver, but I feel like Buffalo just needs to keep doing what they're doing. They've had an excellent season. Josh Allen 100% deserves MVP. Guys like Amari Cooper, Mac Hollins, Khalil Shakir, you name it, they're stepping up. James Cook. The wild card is the defense. The defense is a little shaky. This is not the same Buffalo defense from 3 years ago with guys like Tre'Davious White, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, Rasul Douglas. Matt Milano's coming back, but he's getting up there in age. The team is a little weak on the defense, but I feel like the offense alone will put this game out of reach for Denver.
Yeah, the Bills' offense has been unstoppable for what feels like the better part of this year. Josh Allen has been playing in a league of his own. And that's how it's been. There was like a 3-week span where it was like Josh Allen, the first quarterback to do this. Josh Allen, first quarterback to do that. Josh Allen, first quarterback since 1803 to throw for 700 touchdowns in a season. It's like he was breaking records week in and week out. Bo Nix, as good as he's been this year, is not as good as Josh Allen. And his supporting cast, as good as they've been this year to sneak their way into the playoffs, is not as good as the Bills. Plain and simple. That's what's going to decide this game. But there's the factor that the Broncos are the underdog and nobody thinks they can win. And they're like, we're the last team in. The Bills were one of the best teams, if not the best team in the NFL all year long. Let's go in and prove them everyone wrong. Let's go in and shock the world, which we've seen it. It's like the miracle teams, the underdogs. It always, I don't know. There's always a story with them, and maybe this year it's the Broncos.
Maybe it is, and you know what? To that point, out of all the rookie quarterbacks this year, Bo Nix is the only one that's the most experienced out of everybody else. He is the oldest quarterback this year out of the rookies. He spent, 5, 6, 7 years in college between Auburn and Oregon. He's the most experienced rookie quarterback. So I feel like he's already considered, next year, he might be considered a veteran to a lot of people. But I feel like the Denver Broncos, they just need to, the dynamic duo of Bo Nix and Courtland Sutton needs to ball out against a kind of weak Buffalo secondary. I mean, there's not really much we can say about the Buffalo secondary. They've locked up guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown and fast guys like Xavier Worthy in Kansas City. But this Buffalo secondary, I don't know. I couldn't think of everybody else that Buffalo played. But Denver, I mean, I love them. I think they're great, but I feel like it starts and ends with this game, with their playoff run. And I feel like they're going to be back. They're going to be stronger next year. But Denver's just got to be put on their best performance, and I don't know if they can. They can shock the world. Anything can happen, but Denver has to play at their highest level for it even be to come down to a close game in like the 2-minute warning area.
At this point for Denver, it's about winning the big one. It's about hoisting that Vince Lombardi trophy in February. This for the Bills should be considered as taking care of business. We got to go out there, we got to do our job, and we got to take out the teams we're supposed to take out. Because at the end of the day, and I know I've talked up the Broncos this episode, the Bills are the better football team, and they will be doing what they're supposed to do by winning this matchup. All right, let's get to the last wildcard matchup of the AFC, the Ravens and the Steelers.
Easy. I mean, like, seriously, easy. This is not like, oh, like, is it going to be close? Yes. Is it going to be a scrappy game on both offense and defense? Yes, it is. But here's the thing with Pittsburgh. Here's the problem that everyone seems to pick up on. Mike Tomlin is only good up until he gets that 9th or 10th win. Once he gets to 9 or 10 wins on the season, he gets that winning record that we all know. He's the most consistent coach, always gets a winning record. He's the only coach that's ever done it throughout his whole career, but that's where it ends. Clearly, that's where it ends. Mike Tomlin got his 10th win when they were, 10-3, and then they deflated. That's what happens with the Pittsburgh Steelers every single time. But the Ravens, they're on fire. That duo has proven to be, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry has proven to be one of the deadliest duos in the National Football League, 1,000%. Is Zay Flowers being hurt in a questionable moment for the Ravens offense? Yes, it is. But I feel like Lamar and Henry alone will carry them to victory there. As for the defense has stepped up. Guys like Nemanja Madubuike, guys like Kyle Van Noy, a veteran, and Kyle Hamilton. These guys are stepping up in a big way. John Harbaugh is 1,000% going to be the better coach in this matchup, and I feel like the Ravens should take care of business.
Yeah, I think the Ravens can win. I think they will win. What is Zay Flowers going to be after getting injured last week? He just cut his hair. I don't know, what is he going to be? Like, injuries in the NFL playoffs are real. I mean, we've seen Supermen like Patrick Mahomes do it in this Super Bowl all throughout a playoff run where they weren't the 1 seed that year, I don't think. Oh no, they were, because they played the Jags first round. We've seen people do it before, but it has affected more people than not. So what is Zay Flowers going to be? Because that's your leading receiver at the end of the day. It's not Rashad Bateman. It's not Isaiah Likely. It's not Mark Andrews. It's Zay Flowers. He's got to be the guy that changes this game for Baltimore. He's going to be the one that elevates the Ravens from a contender to we're the best team in the NFL right now. And I'll say this. I don't think Lamar Jackson has what it takes to win a Super Bowl. I don't think he's got a good enough arm. He doesn't throw the ball well enough to win a Super Bowl. So winning this game might be useless, but it's an NFL playoff win, and the Ravens will come out on top.
Yeah, 100%. Like what you said with Zay Flowers. You clearly saw the difference last week against the Browns. Last week when Baltimore played Cleveland. When the first drive with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry got stuffed on every play. Lamar Jackson threw almost every pass to Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers got hurt. Ravens punted on the next 3-4 possessions. Then Mark Andrews. Then Isaiah Likely started showing up. Then Derrick Henry had that monster second half with 2 touchdowns, finished with like 160-something yards. But that can't happen. I don't know if Zay Flowers is going to be there. He's questionable with that sprained knee. He's week to week. He's most likely going to play this playoff game.
You have to play.
I don't see a world where he doesn't.
No, it's not.
But he's not going to be 100% if he does. Unless he is. I don't know. I don't know how long a sprained knee is. I've never sprained my knee. But, I mean, who knows? Zay Flowers is definitely the X factor in this game. He's definitely Lamar's number 1 target. If not, I feel like Derrick Henry alone and the run game alone will be too hard for Pittsburgh to contain.
Yeah, I'm seeing now that he's a long shot to play. I can't believe any of that stuff, though. I mean, this is the NFL playoffs. You can't take these opportunities for granted. You have to play. It doesn't really matter. Like, if you're really like, if you're clear to play and you can walk on that knee, you can run some sort of routes. Just get out there. Even if you're not doing much, you're out there as a decoy and you're taking up at least one corner, maybe two, from the Steelers.
Yeah, right. I mean, the Steelers secondary, other than Minka Fitzpatrick, you got what? You got Joey Porter. Joey Porter Jr., don't get me wrong, he's a great guy, but he's not well enough experienced corner to lock down a guy like Mark Andrews or Zay Flowers. Even with Zay Flowers on a sprainy, I still think Zay Flowers can toast Joey Porter on any route. But I feel like with the Steelers defense, here's the thing with the Steelers defense. We need to see the Steelers team that started 3-0. We need to see the Steelers team that went on that run in the midseason before they got their 9th or 10th win. That's the Pittsburgh Steelers team we need to see. Not the Steelers team that showed up at home to play Philadelphia. Not the Steelers team that played not the Steelers team that played the Bengals. Not the Steelers team that played the Cowboys or the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
We need the Steelers team that we saw at the beginning of the season that everyone thought like, oh, this could be the year that Mike Tomlin has a losing season, where they proved them wrong and started off on a hot streak. That is the Steelers defense we need to see. And I think the Ravens are going to give them trouble this weekend.
Yeah, I think the Steelers are going to be eliminated, but this is potentially going to be the best game out of the AFC games. I think it's like it's the most hit or miss because we've seen two versions of the Steelers. We've seen a Steelers team that can compete for the Super Bowl, but we've also seen a Super Bowl Steelers team that are absolute frauds and they don't know how to play football because some of those games that the Steelers played when there was a disconnect between Russell Wilson and George Pickens, they didn't look good. Period. Stop. It's like no, they were just bad. So we need the good version of the Steelers, and for the Vikings, they're gonna have to be prepared to go to war. Like just because it's the Steelers and they haven't been playing as good of football recently, it doesn't mean they're like not a good team or anything. Like this is the NFL playoffs. The Steelers are a good football team.
100%. And they have the veteran quarterback, the Super Bowl winning quarterback.
They
He's
have
been the Super Bowl.
they have the format of a team that can go to the Super Bowl.
1000%. The blueprint is printed out right in front of you. It's just a matter of if you can build a success story in the playoffs. With this team, I don't know. Most likely not, because there's been the weak points outweigh the good points, even though they won 10 games. They went 10-7, and that's like everyone at least went 10-7 in the NFL and the AFC this year. So they're bottom of the barrel or close to it in the rankings of everyone that's left. And I mean, you got a guy like Russell Wilson, you got a coach like Mike Tomlin. They've been to Super Bowls, they've been around the block every single since Tomlin's been in the league since 2004. Russell Wilson's been in the league since 2012. And, you know, Russell Wilson, we need to see Seattle Seahawks Russell Wilson. Early playoff season Seattle Seahawks football Russell Wilson. That is the Russell Wilson that needs to show up. And if that Russell Wilson shows up, all bets are off the table. The Steelers might win this football game. But with the way Russell Wilson and the offense have been, there's not really that dynamic that used to be there at the beginning of the season when he stepped up in replacement of Justin Fields. So I feel like, I don't know, the Steelers it's a matter of next season. Especially who the quarterback is. Is Russell Wilson going to be the quarterback again? Or is it Justin Fields? Or is it somebody else?
There's no way it's Justin Fields. Justin Fields will not be a Pittsburgh Steeler next season.
I don't know. I mean, he was the first one. He was the first of the two quarterbacks that were signed.
He's gonna get traded. He's gonna get traded out of there.
I feel like he has more trade value technically because he's the younger guy.
You're not gonna get much back for Russell Wilson after what he's gone through the last couple of years.
Oh no, yeah, no. This is the revive year.
Yeah, this is like he's gonna finish his career out with the Steelers. He'll play this year, next year, whatever's left of his contract, and then he'll probably be done. All
He'll
right.
sign the 1 year. He'll sign the 1 year, 1 day deal with the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah,
There.
yeah, probably. Let's get to that side of the bracket, the NFC side of the bracket. Let's start picking those games. We'll start with the Bucks and Commanders in Tampa Bay. Buccaneers winning week 18 to clinch their playoff spot, to clinch the division over the Falcons. And Mike Evans hit his 11th straight 1,000-yard season. That's a ridiculous stat. Only Jerry Rice is the only other person to do it. But for this one, I think the Commanders are frauds. But I think the Bucks will win this football game. Baker Mayfield is a seasoned vet. He has been doing this a long time. He has been playing football for a while now. And for the Bucks, I think like it's all been coming together for them. This is Jaden Daniels and the Commanders' first season. This is their first year with the new head coach. This is their first year with really this whole core. So for them, this is like, all right, great. This is a fun year. We won a lot of games. We made it to the playoffs. Next year, it's going to be winning time. They're going to have a big offseason, fill their needs, and they're going to have to win football games next year. But for the Bucks, this is like, I don't know, this kind of core of Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield. I mean, Bucky Irving's like a substitutional piece. He can be taken in or out. Like they proved they could win without him. So for them, they've been playing together for multiple years at this point. Like they're supposed to be ready to win at this point. And I don't think they're ready. They're not ready to win a World Series or a Super Bowl. But I don't know. I think they win this wild card matchup.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, I feel like they do. Like 1,000%. And here's what I'll say about the Washington Commanders. Don't get me wrong. They're great. They're great. They're a young team that shocked everybody. Dan Quinn came in. Dan Quinn saves teams in his first season. 1,000%. But I will question the decision last week to pull Jaden Daniels in the second quarter. Why? Like, you're still fighting for a 6 or 7 seed. There is a difference who you play. You either play Philly or you either play Tampa. I would rather play Philly because you have Philly's number. You played them twice. You played Tampa once and you got destroyed. There's a difference. You had Philly's number. You beat Philadelphia. You beat Philadelphia in that wild game a few weeks ago. Here's the thing. If you let Jaden Daniels play the rest of that game, do you risk him getting hurt? Absolutely. But here's the thing. You played the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys defense is atrocious against good teams like the Washington Commanders. Here's the thing. If Jaden Daniels played that game, Jaden Daniels would have balled out in the second half. Jaden Daniels would have hit Terry McLaurin for a multitude of touchdowns, Zach Ertz for a couple touchdowns. Zach Ertz, he got that pay incentive with that touchdown. The run game would have looked a lot better. But here's the thing. They took a backseat. They were like, you know what? We're going to win this game. They almost lost that game to the Dallas Cowboys. They almost got swept by the Dallas Cowboys this season. And I don't know what to think of this Washington Commanders team because Jaden Daniels, I don't know if he's playoff ready. I mean, I love the guy. He balled out this season 1,000%. He is the strong contender right now for Offensive Rookie of the Year. But
he's got to be the Rookie of the Year. I mean, he
does.
Out of all the rookies, he led his team to the best record. And like as a Giant fan, it pains me. It pains me to know that Tommy DeVito ruined our tank. And it pains me to know that Joe Shane passed on Bo Nix, who's playing in the playoffs, and Michael Penix Jr., who showed so much promise in the few weeks he played. It pains me. It is unbelievable. And then he wants to come out here and say he has no regrets out of this past draft. How? Because if you had one of these quarterbacks, I'm not saying you'd be in the playoffs, but you'd be a lot better than 3-14.
1,000%. And who would have thought that everyone, you know what, Joe Shane, you should have listened to your 14-year-old son. The first thing he said, who should we take? Jaden Daniels. You only get this job once. You only get it once. Use it. Have fun with the job. Draft the right piece. Why would you go receiver? Do you need help at receiver?
Not
Yes.
really. Receivers grow on trees in this league.
Yeah, but you easily could have gotten a veteran free agency. Why reach? I mean, Malik Neighbors is obviously the best person in terms of receivers on the board now that Marvin Harrison went off the board, but you need a quarterback. Daniel Jones, the minute he got that contract, tanked, sucked, injured, gone. He's Minnesota's problem now. And I don't even know if Minnesota's going to hold on to him next season. He's their problem now. And now you have no quarterback again. And now it's almost paramount that you have to take a quarterback this draft. Who you take, I don't know, Joe. Listen to your kid. Listen to your kid because he's going to tell you the right person to take, and you better take him. Or else more planes are going to fly over MetLife Stadium and say, fire Joe Mara, fire Shane, fire everybody. We're going to get another plane over MetLife Stadium again if you don't make the right choice. But back to the Commanders, I feel like they're too young. I'm going to say that flat out. They're too young to compete. This Bucs team is the team of veterans. Other than Bucky Irving, this team is a bunch of veterans. Baker Mayfield is a 6-7-year veteran. Mike Evans is a 10-year veteran. You have these two on offense. The dynamic duo has worked ever since Baker Mayfield got into Tampa Bay. Even guys like Jalen McMillan had the best game of his career last week against the Saints. Guys like K-Dye, guys like Bucky Irving, guys on the defense, Zion McCollum, Vita Vea. These guys are stepping up. They're going to get in. They're easily going to win this game because they're just flat out the better team, and they have home field advantage. But I will say the Bucs, in past experiences, a lot of road teams in the playoffs when the Bucs are home, the road team gets the better crowd. There were a lot more Eagle fans last year. There were a lot more Cowboy fans when the Cowboys went to Tampa. I don't know. Raymond James Stadium's got to be loud, and especially for a guy like Jaden Daniels, he does not do well under pressure. Not a lot of rookies do well under pressure in loud environments. So I'm going to take the Buccaneers.
They're too young. Come back to me with this matchup in a year or two, and the answer will probably be different. But for now, I think it's a Bucs win. The Commanders are frauds. I've said it all year. It is what it is. They'll be better next year, and they're gonna be. I don't know. They're not going anywhere. That's the thing. Like they've started to build. Like I'm not gonna say a perennial contender, but they've built now like at least a 3 year window where they'll probably be in the dance. All right, next matchup: Eagles and Packers. The 2-7, a rematch of Week 1 from Brazil, where I do believe the Eagles won that game.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, they did.
34-29.
Right. Who you got here though? I mean, Jalen Hurts. He's a little banged up with that concussion. Saquon Barkley didn't play last week. Well, who do you have?
You know what? I went into thinking today, Jordan Love is banged up. We don't know what's going on with his hand injury.
Christian Watson's out. Christian Watson.
But you know what? If there is one team that is always at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to the NFC playoffs and that sneaks in and gets it done, it is the Green Bay Packers. And you know what? Week 1, I will say this. Philadelphia took out Jordan Love. You can say anything you want about that hit. That was a dirty hit at the end of the game. Should Jordan Love have been in the last snap of the game? I don't know, because you want to have your quarterback out there. But here's the thing. It is not Jordan Love's throwing hand. Christian Watson had only 13 yards in that game. You had Jaden Reed, Josh Jacobs, Romeo Doubs. These guys stepped up to the plate. The defense looked great. You know what? This is the revenge game. Give me in the upset the Green Bay Packers to march into Philadelphia and beat the Philadelphia Eagles. You know what? It is that simple. If Jalen Hurts is banged up, Jalen Hurts is not going to play at his highest level that we're used to Jalen Hurts playing at. Saquon Barkley had one of the best games of his life against Green Bay Week 1. And you know what? I feel like they learned their lesson. This team has some of the most heart, the most dedication drive that you'll see out of any team this season in the playoffs. And they did it before. They defied the odds against Dallas. They almost defied the odds against San Fran last season. This is the new start. We're in the exact same position. And the good thing about this, with the exception of Josh Jacobs, They kept the same team, the same quarterback, the same coaching staff. Is Jordan Love an overpaid contract? 1,000%. I will debate you that it 1,000% is. There is no doubt about it. But Jordan Love, I feel like he's in this situation before because last time they played in Brazil, they were the road team. It was a Philadelphia home game under NFL rules, and there were more Eagle fans. There were more Eagle fans in Brazil in week 1. So Jordan Love is already under pressure. Jordan Love is used to playing under that amount of pressure. He competes. He almost beat Detroit. He almost beat Minnesota. There's a bunch of almost. But you know what? Jordan Love has got it done in multiple occasions. I can firmly believe that it is possible for the Green Bay Packers to upset. And you know what? Anything can happen. They've done it once as the 7th seed. They can do it again. Give me the Green Bay Packers.
All right. I see where you're coming from. But the Philadelphia Eagles are one of the 3 teams on the NFC side I think can come out of the NFC. I think those 3 teams are the Lions, the Vikings, and the Eagles. The Eagles are going to take care of business tonight on, when is that the Sunday night game?
That is Sunday.
Yeah, on Sunday night. They're going to go on to the divisional round, and then they're going to beat the next team too. The Philadelphia Eagles are complete. They're more complete than the Packers are with a dinged-up Jordan Love and missing Christian Watson, who's their best receiver. The Philadelphia Eagles have a good young secondary. They have a good backfield in Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. They have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. They have one of the best offensive lines in football. There is very few holes on this Philadelphia Eagles roster. I don't see a world where the Packers win this game. Flat out.
Isn't it overwhelming, though? I mean, you have all these names. You have, we're stacked at every position. There's no hole in the team. Is that overwhelming, though?
What's overwhelming
Kellen Moore is your offensive coordinator. What is Kellen Moore got in his coaching career?
They have playmakers on the offense. They have a Saquon Barkley, who is the best running back in the National Football League. They have Jalen Hurts, who can make plays with his feet, and he can throw it around a little bit.
Here's the thing. A majority of the Philadelphia Eagles this season is the run game. 1,000%.
100%.
You can't say otherwise. Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, sure, they had great seasons, but it wasn't, Jalen Hurts only passed the ball. No, this was the run game, and it's known for the last 5 years. It was always, since Jalen Hurts got there, it was always Jalen Hurts. 4th and 1, it's a tush push, everybody. But no, here's the thing. I will say the Philadelphia Eagles are a great team. Nick Sirianni has let the whole organization keep hating us. Keep saying all these things after week 4 when we were 2-2. We won 10 in a row. That's what we did. We used that as fuel. We used your hatred as fuel. Saquon Barkley is in the MVP race. Is he going to win MVP? No, it's a quarterback's reward. No matter what. Saquon Barkley had 2,000 yards. It's still a quarterback. It's still a quarterback award. We all know it. It's never not going to be a quarterback award. But here's the thing. Here's the game plan for the Green Bay Packers. Are they ready? 1,000%. Why would you not be ready? If you weren't ready, you wouldn't have made the playoffs, and you would have screwed up somewhere down the line, and you would have been eliminated, and we'd be looking at somebody else, a team like the Seattle Seahawks, and then that game would be a blowout, 1,000%. This game wasn't a blowout in Brazil. It's the same scenario. It's the same team. The only difference was, let's start the season off right. They only lost by 5 points. They competed. Jordan Love and the young receiving core had some dynamic throws, some crazy plays in that game. Or the Eagles, Vic Fangio and the defense have to step it up from that game. Their defense looked weak. Saquon Barkley won me that game with 2 receiving touchdowns. He had almost 200 something yards. He was a monster. That is what you have to do to contain the Eagles. Stop Saquon Barkley. Stop the run game. 4th and 1, you are stacking everybody in the box. 4th and short, 4th and goal, 1st and goal on the 1. You are stacking everybody in the box, and you are trying to force that ball out of Jalen Hurts' hand. That is what you do to win this game. Your corners, Jair Alexander, you got Xavier McKinney. I will say this: Xavier McKinney's underrated.
Yeah.
Contender for defensive
And
player
another
of the
and
year.
another bad
Pro Bowler.
and you think
Leads
about
the
the
league
Giants.
in interceptions.
And you think
Former
about the
New York
Giants
Giant.
last year, you think about who was on the roster just 2 seasons ago. It was Xavier McKinney, but Joe Shane doesn't want to sign him. We'd rather let him walk. We'd rather let Saquon walk. And those are two of the best players in the NFL on their respective sides of the ball.
Xavier McKinney
Great
has
job,
done.
Joe Shane. And John Mara, you want to bring that guy back?
Yeah, you do. You send the letter. You want him back. It's going to be 2025 sixth season New York Football Giants coming to you live.
How do the Giants have like the hardest schedule next
Let me
year?
just acknowledge that. We're going to pause on the whatever team we're talking, Packers, Eagles. I just want to acknowledge
they play the Chiefs, they play the Vikings, they play the Packers, they play the Lions.
Your home games: Dallas, Philly, Washington, Green Bay, Minnesota, KC, San Fran. Oh my God.
Thanks, Roger Goodell. This team wins one game at home and gets swept in the division. Let's give them the hardest schedule in the league. That makes sense.
At the end, they're going to go winless. They're going to Detroit.
They're going to go winless next year. They're going to go winless.
0-17, the third team to do it. The third team to do it. First pick 2026 NFL draft. You know what? You're already in the dumpster. Let's get further in the dumpster. You know what? Don't draft the quarterback this year. Go 0-17. First pick Arch Manning next year out of Texas. That's your quarterback of the future.
Nah, whatever they do in the draft, they're gonna come away with what they think is a franchise quarterback. They got to stick it out through at least.
Oh my God!
For after next year.
That's diabolical.
It's awful. It makes no sense.
We'll give them their own episode. But
next
Packers. Well, back to the Packers. Xavier McKinney, 7 interceptions on the year. He's a dog at safety. Xavier McKinney can lead this team to victory. Xavier McKinney, here's the advantage of playing on the New York Football Giants. He knows the Philadelphia Eagles. He knows A.J. Brown. He knows Devontae Smith. He
doesn't know what Saquon's going to do. He doesn't know Saquon as an Eagle.
He knows Saquon as a Giant. He knows Saquon Barkley. He was there when Saquon Barkley won Offensive Rookie of the Year. He was right there with him. So you know what? There's your wild card in that game. Xavier McKinney is going to have 1 interception at least on Jalen Hurts, because I don't think Jalen Hurts is 1,000% healthy. Jalen Hurts,
no shot. He's actually clearing the protocol. They're gonna clear him and he's gonna play this game, but no shot. He's like actually back to normal.
Here's the thing: if Jalen Hurts is not 1,000%, or not even 100%, let's just say that Joe Barry and the Green Bay Packers are coming at you with a hot blitz, and you're sacking Jalen Hurts.
Their whole game plan has to be get Jalen Hurts on the ground as many times as possible.
Exactly.
Let those D linemen eat and let Jalen Hurts feel the wrath.
1 sack, Jalen Hurts. All it takes, you're not even 100%. All it takes is 1 sack. You're gone. You're done. Kenny Pickett comes in. The game is over. The game is done. That's it. But here's the thing: you have a veteran that knows the NFC East, that knows the Philadelphia Eagles. No, even if he got destroyed by the Philadelphia Eagles, now he didn't, because guess who allowed the Dallas Cowboys to win the division last year? Xavier McKinney and the New York Giants allowed the Dallas Cowboys to win the division.
How bad did the Cowboys lose in the playoffs again?
I'm not talking about the Dallas Cowboys. I'm talking about shut up. Shut up.
Got him.
Stop blazing the Philadelphia Eagles. You're a Giants fan. You're not supposed to do that.
I hate the Eagles.
Yeah. So let me speak about Xavier McKinney and the Green Bay Packers. Now, let me glaze Green Bay Packers and Xavier McKinney. You're going to hear from guys that are going to step up like Dontavian Wicks, Jaden Reed. You're never going to hear the end of it. Here's the thing. Jalen Hurts can't stay in the pocket if the Packers send blitzes. Jalen Hurts has got to get out of the pocket as soon as possible. Either sling the rock, pass the ball to Saquon, or get out of bounds as fast as possible. That is going to be the game plan to stop Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Packers are going to do it again.
It's got to be the game plan, but Jalen Hurts is going to put his body on the line. He knows this can be his last game of the season. He knows what's at stake here. He's going to put his body on the line. They are going to shoot him up with some of the most effective painkillers that nobody's ever heard of.
1,000%. I feel like Jalen Hurts is, that's my cat in the background. Jalen Hurts. Hey, get out. Jalen Hurts is a dynamic quarterback, 1,000%. He can run, he can throw. I'm sure if they wanted to run Philly special, he can catch too. But here's the thing. The Packers, it's a pretty simple game plan considering Jalen Hurts is not 100%. Is Jalen Hurts clear? I don't know. According to the Philadelphia Eagles, 1,000%, he's cleared. He's 100%. He's never looked better, according to the Philadelphia Eagles. Nick Sirianni, Kellen Moore, they're going to tell you he looks at the prime of his career. No. Reality says no. He does not look good right now. Is he going to play 1,000%? Because they're obviously going to lose if he doesn't. Saquon Barkley, number one is Jalen Hurts. Number two, because if you take out Jalen Hurts, you take out his run game and you take out the pass game. Until Kenny Pickett gets in. Saquon Barkley is the next in line. Saquon Barkley has to, if Saquon Barkley has the same game he does, great. That's fine. But again, the Packers only lost by 5 points. If they can contain the run game, that is more than half the battle in this game. And I feel like they can do it. They've done the whole 7th seed. We're the underdogs. Bet all your money against us. They've done it once. They got to the divisional round. They kept it close with San Fran, who went to the Super Bowl, of all places. If they can do it, then it's the same team. The only
without
difference,
Christian Watson.
Christian Watson. Oh,
that's their
Christian
best
Watson
receiver.
Wasn't even the best player in the playoffs last year.
That's their best receiver, though.
So what? Jaden Reed has stepped up.
It's been like half a game.
So what? This
against the Bears, and they lost.
So what? It happens. What are you gonna clown around? What are you gonna clown around the Vikings?
What are you gonna say? So what? Their quarterback is hurt.
It's the other hand. Jordan Love's throwing hand is fine.
It's more than
the other hand. Josh Allen played with the entire season with a broken hand.
Josh Allen's a unicorn.
What?
He's an alien. He's not real.
Okay, he's not real. He's got 10 million aura. Who cares? But here's the thing. This is a different team. This team stuck together. They didn't go out and get Saquon, superstar. They got one player. They got Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs has turned his career around in Green Bay. Matt LaFleur, whoever the offensive coordinator is in Green Bay, they look great. That dynamic looks great. The Bears game, it's a fluke. It happens. You know what? I'm convinced it was a fluke because they were already in. The Packers were already in. No matter what, they lost that game, they won that game. They are already in the playoffs. Jordan Love, here's the thing. Jordan Love went down. Jordan Love came out. Everybody knew the Bears had a chance when Jordan Love went out. Everybody knew that the Bears had a chance. And sure enough, Caleb Williams and the offense got it together. They won. Who knew? Shocker. Everybody knew the Bears had a chance to win that game when Jordan Love got hurt. Everybody knew the Packers were in trouble when the Packers went to go play Tennessee without Jordan Love. Malik Willis stepped up. Malik Willis went 2-0 as a starter. Malik Willis came in. He played fine. But here's the thing. When Jordan Love is out, the whole dynamic changes. Jordan Love is here. There is a difference in Jordan Love's and the Packers offense with him or without him. I think this team is the best it's ever looked on paper. And you know what? Give me the Green Bay Packers. Why not?
I just can't get with it. I mean, we talk about the Packers have to get to Jalen Hurts. The Eagles have to get to Jordan Love also. Well, let's get to the last game of the episode. This is going on pretty long, I think. The last game, Rams and Vikings. Vikings I mean, Sam Darnold looked awful last week. Jason, the Vikings are your team. I mean, Jason picked another big game wrong. I mean, we've seen it, what, how many, 3, 4 times this year? It feels like every picks episode we do, he gets the big episode wrong. He gets the big game wrong. Sam Darnold, he put up a stinker. It seems like it's probably a one-off, but what do you think, Jason?
Minnesota, what the hell, man? Yeah, let's show the clips. Let's show everything I've said about the Minnesota Vikings this season. I went out on a limb and said how good you were. What was that? Sunday night football in Detroit, you put up 9 points. You score 0 points, you 0 touchdowns in the red zone. There was a picture, 3 drives. Justin Jefferson's open on 4th down in the corner of the end zone. Jordan Addison's open on a slant. And Jalen Naylor's open on the other side of the field in the end zone. And Sam Darnold does nothing. This is the Sam Darnold that played with the Jets, that played with the Panthers. That's the Sam Darnold we saw on Sunday, and it sucked. That team, they did not show up to win. They showed up. They were like, you know what? We're in the playoffs. We look good. We're going to be the favorites against whoever we play. You know what? That's the Minnesota Vikings team that showed up, not the Minnesota Vikings team that wanted to the NFC runs through Minnesota. No, the NFC runs through Detroit. And I don't even think you're going to beat the Detroit Lions if you cross paths with them.
Wow, what a switch up from
last
way. Week.
Here's the thing. Is Minnesota good this season? Absolutely. Sam Darnold had the revive of the century? Absolutely. The offense looked great. The defense looked great. Andrew Van Ginkel, I don't know. 3 years ago, no one knew who that guy was. Outside of anyone being a Dolphins fan, no one knew who that guy was. Now this guy showed up. Jonathan Grenard showed up. Cam Bynum and the Camp Rock High School Musical group showed up on defense. Everyone's showing up. Kevin O'Connell's a fantastic coach. You have the pieces. But here's the thing. You are going to win this game. You're 3-point favorites. You're going to win by 3 points. That's it, though. This is not, let's get one thing clear. You lost to the Rams. Is it by the face mask in the end zone that tailored it from a 1-possession game to a 2-possession game? I don't know. But here's the thing. You take that away, you get your face mask, you still got to go 85 yards because you started the ball at the 2-yard line. You got to go 85 yards for a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie because you were down 8 points. This is a different team. The Vikings team we saw in October is a completely different Vikings team we saw despite this goose egg they laid in Detroit. Let's get that right. The Vikings, don't get me wrong, love you, Rams. I love the team. Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, that trio is deadly. But I feel like the Minnesota Vikings just have, they have one more in them. They have one more in them. If the Packers win, Packers would go to Detroit. Tampa would host Minnesota. I will take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to beat the Minnesota Vikings in that game. Vice versa, if the Packers lose, Philly goes to Minnesota, plays Philly. I will take the Philadelphia Eagles to win. No matter what, I think it's a one and done for the Minnesota Vikings. But I feel like right now they are the better team in this scenario. I just don't. The Rams defense, to me, the Vikings offense is greater than the Rams defense. That's what's going to win them the football game.
You know what? I have to take the Los Angeles Rams.
Okay, fair.
After what I saw last week out of Sam Darnold, missing receivers left and right, overthrowing TJ Hawkinson multiple times in the red zone, overthrowing Justin Jefferson, missing basic throws. I have more trust in a Matt Stafford-led team with Puka Nacua, with Cooper Kupp, with Kyren Williams, with a defense that is solid. I have more trust in that team. I don't know. Is Sam Darnold a system quarterback? I think he is. And I don't know, is the system gonna work in the playoffs? I don't know. I don't think so.
Why? What tells you
What I saw
Rams defense here, let's put it this way. Name 5 players on the Rams defense right now.
Why you gotta put me on the spot like that, bro?
I'm just saying. Here's the thing.
I
There's no big
can't. I
names on that
can't.
defense. Their best defender on the defense is a rookie. Don't get me wrong. He's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Jared
It's
Verse has had a
good.
phenomenal season.
It's good enough though.
But the Vikings O-line is strong
Okay,
enough to
wait.
contain it.
Let's look at the last couple games. They held the Cardinals, who were in the mix, to 9 points. They held I guess the Jets and 49ers sucked. I'm trying to find a good game. All right, they held the Eagles to they lost that game by a lot. Let me see. They held the Vikings to 20 points.
They lost to the Eagles. The Eagles.
Yeah, 37-20. They lost or they beat the Seahawks 26-20. They beat the Vikings 30-20. They beat the Raiders 20-15. I mean,
Wait. Whoa. Where are you looking?
ESPN.
You're looking. You're looking at
The Ram. I'm talking about the Rams.
Oh, we're talking about the Rams. Okay, I thought we were talking about the Vikings. I was like, whoa. Okay, keep going.
Nah, the Rams defense, it's good enough. It's not like anything. It's not anything special, but it'll get them by, and it'll get their offense enough opportunities to win them the football game.
Here's the thing: the Rams defense and the word turnovers, they're not friends. That's the problem. That's the problem with this team. Sam Darnold. Let's put it this way. Let's pull up the Vikings-Lions game, the 31-9 massacre. Let's see. Did Sam Darnold have an interception? I want to see. Did Sam Darnold have? No, he did not. No, they did not turn the ball over. Minnesota did not turn the ball over. Did Minnesota screw up 3 times in the red zone? Absolutely. But Minnesota does not turn the ball over. There's the difference. The Rams do turn the ball over. Kyren Williams has had some fumbles this season. Matthew Stafford has had some picks this season. Here's the thing. I mean, the Rams, their offense is pretty solid, but I feel like that the defense is going to put them in a hole. 1,000%. Defense is going to put them in a hole. And it's a matter of it. Matthew Stafford is the right quarterback to get you out of that hole, but I don't even think he does.
I don't know. I think the Rams are the better football team. Like right now, I think they are. How much is Cam Byron and the Vikings defense gonna be able to do against Puka, against Cooper, against Stafford? I don't think they're gonna be able to do too much. I think the Rams are gonna have a good offensive game, and the Vikings are gonna. I don't know. I think they're gonna continue to struggle on offense.
I don't. I mean, I see where you're coming from. I do. I really see Puka Nacua having a very good game. He's gonna have a better game than Cooper Kupp. That's a fact.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a better receiver at this point.
1,000%. Tyler Higbee is gonna be.
You don't need a big game from Higbee though. That's
You need a big game from 2 receivers, and if you lock up those 2 receivers, now we have an issue because Tyler Higbee's got to step up. He hasn't done all season. Kyren Williams has got to get his act together in the playoffs. He's not really a playoff-ready running back.
How much has he played in the playoffs, though?
1 game? The Detroit Lions game last season?
1 game. It's not like he's had this like illustrious playoff career.
It was the Puka Nacua show last year. He had 161 yards.
It was the Puka Nacua show, and it's going to be the Puka Nacua show again this year, supplemented by a solid Kyren Williams game. You don't need to have 2 huge games from receivers. It can be a receiver and a running back. The Vikings can only double like 1 person. The other one's going to be single covered. And the running back, I think Kyren has a big game.
You think wait. You don't think the Minnesota Vikings know that, the Rams, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, this team is legit. This team is like everyone knows the team you do not want to play in the playoffs. You don't think the Minnesota Vikings are aware of that? You don't think Brian Flores and Kevin O'Connell are aware of that?
I never said that.
You clearly do, because you're saying that, Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are going to have big games.
I said one of them is going to have a big game.
You need more than that. This is the NFL playoffs.
I said a big game from Puka and a big game from Kyren Williams.
But here's the thing. The Vikings rush defense is one of the best in the league.
So that doesn't mean Kyron Williams can have a big game. He's been good all year. He hasn't had like let's see. These teams haven't played before, I don't think. Or did they? Yeah, they did. And the Vikings won 30-20. This was the face mask game on Thursday Night Football. Let's see. Kyron Williams, 23 carries for 97 yards in that matchup. Why does that change? Puka Nacua, 7 receptions for 106 yards in that game, by the way. What changes for the Vikings?
What changes for the Vikings? What changes for the Vikings? We're going to see the Minnesota Vikings team that we saw all season, with the exception of the 2 games to the Lions and the 1 game to the Rams.
At this point, the Vikings were 5-2.
So what? The 5-2? Okay, they dropped 2 straight. Okay. So you're saying they're not playoff ready? Like they're not.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I think Kyron Williams and Puka Nacua are going to have big nights because they've already proved that they could do it against the Vikings.
Wait. Hold on. Was it really a big game from both of them? Let's see. Let's see. 30-20. Yeah, it was an interesting Thursday night game.
Do you consider 23 carry or let me see. 23 carries for 97 yards a big game?
Yeah, okay. The Rams offense looked solid. It was one of the best showings from the Rams offense we saw.
Well, they've got to do it on offense. That's their formula to success. That's the way they're going to win this game.
If that's their formula to success, I get you, but they have to score on like almost every single possession, and it can't be a field goal. It can't be in the situation where Joshua Carty comes in and kicks a field goal. No, it can't happen that way, because the second that you come away with no points on a drive and you punt that ball away, you're putting the Rams defense against the Vikings offense that we are most likely going to see a rebound from. That's the problem I have with the Rams defense. Don't get me wrong. This is going to be a tight game, 1,000%. It's going to be the final game we see in Wild Card Weekend, and it's going to be one of the better games we see. But I feel like, again, I'm going to say it point blank, the Vikings offense is better than the Rams defense.
I don't think it is. I think the Rams, I think it's like they're so close that this argument will never end. Like we can both pull stats from both places. I think at the end of the day, it's just it's like something. It's like an opinion, and we're not going to agree on it.
Okay, fair.
All right, that's gonna do it for this episode. Chasing Victory. I'm Ben Ballion, and that's Jason Lee. We'll see you on Saturday.